Joe, Don, thanks very much indeed. Nottingham Forest celebrating their first win at Anfield for 55 years. Who would have seen that coming after their 100% start to the season? 3 straight league wins in a row without conceding until today, Michael. That was not part of the script at half-time.
No, tough one to swallow that. I mean, let's get it right. Forest played very, very well today. They looked dangerous going forward and they hardly conceded any chances to Liverpool. Liverpool will be really disappointed with their performance. You know, whether it was because of the international break, everybody flying back and, you know, not much time to recover. You can make all the excuses you like, but that wasn't what we expect from this Liverpool team.
That looked like the perfect away game plan for Forest.
Brilliant. You know, he mentioned at half-time the counter-attacking threat, and Hudson-Odoi there came up with the goods, cutting in on the left-hand side onto his strong foot. I thought they could have defended it better, Liverpool, but nonetheless, I have to agree with Michael. I thought they really, really deserved it. I was surprised Liverpool didn't shift gear and go again, but you have to give all credit there to Forest, going there, getting the result and a solid performance.
Yeah, I mean, that was the interesting point. They did certainly make a few changes in the second half. It didn't bring the necessary changes that Slot was after. But what it does do, it just serves as a reality check. You can't discount any opponent in the Premier League.
No, I mean, it's the first real big shock, I think, we've had in the Premier League this season. And it just shows you. We always say, don't we, anybody can beat anyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Manchester City winning the league so many times and the same teams being up there in recent years, you all of a sudden think, you know, is it becoming a little bit once, and then you get results like that, and it just reminds you of how difficult it is for to win this Premier League and to win consistent games. Liverpool have been on a great run in recent times. It's not an easy place to go, Anfield. So fair play to Forest. That was impressive.
No, I mean, the international break came at the wrong time for Liverpool, didn't it? You know, in rhythm, in sync, you're thinking, wow, the manager's come in, done an unbelievable job. But you know what Michael said there. You know, you saw Man City find a way to win, and you're thinking, Liverpool, you've done so well, come off the break. You're right, you can say all the excuses, but you have to find a way. And I thought in the final third of the day, I was really disappointed with Liverpool. I thought their end product wasn't where it used to be and the sharpness wasn't there. But look, you have to give credit to Forest.
Had fresh legs for that second half. So what were the instructions that Nuno gave you, and what he told you about the game plan, especially before the match as well, when you started on the bench?
I think obviously we knew at a certain point that we're going to come on, hopefully. And obviously we're fresh legs, as you said, so it gives us a space to run in behind and obviously cause problems, which obviously we did. And as I said, before the game, he told us just go out there, express yourself, be yourself, and try and make an impact, which is what we've done. So we're buzzing with the win. Obviously, as I said, we go again next week.
Yeah, and can you talk us through the goal? Because it was a nice shot. What was your vision when you were trying to, you know, just cut on the inside?
No, do you know what it is? Like, I saw the corner. I saw there was space to hit it. And obviously, as soon as I hit it, I knew there was a good chance of going in. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I'm delighted with the goal. I said the boys, we dug through throughout the whole game, and obviously it was a well-deserved, I think, win for us, definitely. We dug in from the bottom, and we started well, and we ended well, so buzzing with the win, as I said. We go again next week.
How do you express yourself and show this freedom at Anfield, one of the toughest grounds in the Premier League, you know?
I think the manager, that's what he instills in us every single day to, you know, he can give us instructions, but he just gives us that belief that we're good footballers, and wherever we go, whether we're playing at the City Ground or Anfield today, just to not change our style, and you know, we've got to respect the opponents, but yeah, we really showed our quality, and I think we're good for the win.
And defended really well, especially in the first half. What was key to disrupt Liverpool's flow?
Yeah, we know that if they get the crowd on side here, it's really powerful. So you know, we tried to have spells of possession. We knew they go man for man at the back and they'd leave spaces. We tried to exploit that when we could, limit our mistakes. Luckily, I got away with mine. And yeah, the defence were fantastic, but that's from front to back.
55 years. It's been 55 years the last time Forest won here in the league. So how big does it feel, and how much of a boost is it for you guys for the rest of the season?
Definitely, it's a massive win. Of course, as I said, coming here is crazy. The atmosphere is amazing, obviously. And for us, we want to know that it was going to be a tough game from the start. So we made sure that we had the right mentality from the beginning, determination, which we showed throughout the whole game. So yeah, we're really buzzing with that. 55 years and then now it's done. So as I said, we're happy with what was happening today, but we can't just rely on this. We've got to go again and go next week.
Well done, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant performance, and I suppose essentially the most important, you know, display off the bench from Callum Hudson-Odoi, Karen.
Yeah, I mean, you know what he's going to do when he's on that left. He's going to chop in onto that right foot. And he said he saw the little gap, but you still have to execute it. You still have to do it. And yeah, I thought he did really well. And we spoke about it, the counter-attack. It was always going to be their threat. Credit to them, Forest have nullified all the chances. I mean, it's a poor turnover there from Nunez. He's got to hold that up. And then this is a brilliant pass in behind. You know, Liverpool trying to keep that high line, but it's a great ball. And then, obviously, he was up against the right back that had just come on as well. So he's thinking, I'll get right at him and give him a bit of a run there. And fair play to Hudson-Odoi. It was a good finish.
It's a great ball, isn't it, from Malanga, but he still had an awful lot to do, Hudson-Odoi. I mean, he picks the ball up there, and OK, if he goes past one, but he's still got Konate covering Conor Bradley, so he's almost got to wriggle past two, and he wriggles past one and uses Konate almost to bend it round right into that far corner. Everybody knows where he's wanting to put it, but as Karen says, that's the easy bit. The execution is the hard bit, and as you can see, Alisson nowhere near it. It had pace, it had direction, and it was a lovely finish.
As a visiting team to Anfield,
Yeah.
is that the perfect way to come away with all 3 points?
3 points at Anfield doesn't matter how you do it.
Does that go down as a smash and grab then?
I wouldn't say that was a smash and grab. I thought it was quite controlled from them, but to go to Anfield and get 3 points. But I do think, though, maybe slot subs didn't really help. You know, moving Trent out of there, bringing Bradley on, who I thought
got undone for the...
He struggled slightly, Bradley, today, and he's a top young player, no question about it. But I thought maybe I don't know what the subs didn't really kick Liverpool on a gear, and I thought in that 1v1 and a couple of times he wasn't quite there today.
The difficulty is we don't know the state of everybody. We don't know when they came back from international duty. Was it in the middle of the night? You know, how many miles they travelled. So
and that can make a difference.
Well, I just thought McAllister's your centre midfield player. He's won a World Cup. He's an unbelievable player. And putting a right back into midfield. I know everybody thinks that Trent can play midfield, and he can. But I just thought, well, that's a bit strict. But we know that he's been doing plenty of travelling. So you've got all that going on through the manager's mind. So you're trying to guess that as well. So as much as we can, you know, say, I'm not sure about that, and what about that substitution? You know, he knows how they're all feeling. He knows the miles that they've done. He knows the minutes that they've played. So you've got to give them a little bit of slack.
Mo Salah being one of them?
Mo Salah being one of them. I mean, another player, he played out in Egypt, and then I think he went to Botswana. So a fair bit of travelling from Mo Salah, and you know, if we're looking for an excuse for him, then there it is, a lot of travelling. He just was not at the races today. Everything he did seemed to not come off. You know, overhitting a ball there. His touch was poor. His decision making was really poor. He was shooting from tight angles and passing when he should have shot, and you know, and we just saw this throughout the whole game. It was just we know Mo Salah can have games like this. I mean, his numbers are absolutely outstanding, but we do know that his touch can be a little bit ropey at times. His decision making, when to shoot, when to pass, can be a little bit questionable at times. But today, everything he tried, Karen, didn't come off.
I think it is the hardest time for a player coming off international duty. I don't know about you, Mo, but I definitely struggled, whether it be different styles, the travel, the energy. Sometimes it's just that connection and that fluidity, but we understand that, but you'd hope that doesn't cost Liverpool down the line.
Yeah.
Because you have to be so clean to try and win this Premier League, and I hope that doesn't, after the international break, doesn't come and bite them.
I'll tell you what, let's get some post-match reaction to that shock win then for Nottingham Forest. Let's hear from the Liverpool goalkeeper. Here's Alisson.
How do you describe that result today and the performance?
It was a shame. Losing points at home is not good at all. But the opponent today was clear the way they want to play. They want only defend and play for one ball. We gave them this ball too easy when they score. Poor defensive from us. With the ball as well, we couldn't create much because of the way they defended, and also because of ourselves, a little bit lack of quality. Today, maybe more energy. Unfortunately, it's 3 points that we lost today was unnecessary.
And I'm sure frustrating as well, because you did have so many opportunities and just couldn't break them down. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, all the opportunities we had were not clear enough to score. I think the way they defend was great. They came here They throw themselves in front of the ball. It's hard to play against 11 players inside of the box. I think that's the reason, and maybe because we lack a little bit of quality today. We have to work for these things don't happen again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there's no doubt Liverpool were the dominant force. Well, with the ball, I mean, 70% possession compared to Nottingham Forest 30. 5 shots on target only of their 14 shots on goal. I mean, that will come, you know, as pretty disappointing, really, for Arne Slot. And expected goals, they only really edged Forest in the end. I just wonder, and you talk about the unexpected, I suppose the unpredictability to certain sides after the international break. Will that mark Arne Slot's card for the October break now to see, you know, the next game, we've just got to be careful this doesn't happen again?
Maybe. I mean, we're suggesting that could be a reason, because that wasn't a typical Liverpool game.
Well, it's very different to what we've seen already.
Absolutely, yeah. They've been very good in their 3 games. They left for international duty in red-hot form, beating Manchester United away 3-0. So it's just not what we expect. So we're scratching around thinking, right, what's different? And we've looked at it and thought, well, the preparation's different. And it can often be the case. We often hear managers using that excuse after international duty, especially if you're playing on the early game as well, the 12:30 game. So that's the reason that I think they might have been a little bit sluggish, lots of miles in the legs, tiredness, etc. But it all depends on what Arne Slot thinks. You know, if he might think there's something else why they didn't play so well today. But yeah, if that's what he thinks as well, that'll mark his card for next time.
Yeah.
You know, the Premier League or all divisions in the world, you know, it's the same thing. If you've done all that travelling, you come back, the first game back can be tricky.
And we should leave the final word to Nottingham Forest. I mean, it's a historic win as far as they're concerned, and it takes them 4 unbeaten at the start of this season, and not many would have seen that coming. No,
like solid, and you saw the possession stats there, they had 30%, but there's still an element of control in their performance today, even without the ball. So you have to give them credit. They were solid, and when they had the opportunity to win the game, they won it, and they were clinical with it. But yeah, impressive. They look a strong United team, and anyone will find it difficult to play against, and try and break them down will be hard.
Yeah.
Pitch is finally starting to empty out there. From Liverpool's point of view, though, Shay, how unimpressed were you with them, particularly in the second half when we thought that they...
We thought there'd be a reaction, didn't we, second half? We thought Arne Slot would get them in at half-time. Yeah, he did make a few subs. He changed, went to a back 3, I think, halfway through the second half. You definitely give him credit for trying different things. But like people like Mo Salah had a really off day. Diaz was quiet. Jota had a couple of chances with his head. I think maybe could have done better. But again, you know, as you said, as Damien says, Matt Sales didn't make a loads of unbelievable saves, and it wasn't all hands to the pump. They defended really well, and he'll have a lot to think about now, Slot. This is the Premier League. It's not going to be all rosy in the garden, and he's got to find solutions.
And he's got the Champions League coming up in midweek, a challenging fixture to start that. He did try. I mean, he made a triple substitution. He changed to 3 at the back. He made a few tweaks along those lines, but did they have any material impact?
No, it didn't really. We were trying to work out, I think, with their boxing midfield, and you know, had 3 at the back with Bradley playing right side centre half and Tsimikas the left side. So he was trying all sorts of different things, but again, it wasn't like he was making changes and things were happening. It was just a really flat performance. And I mentioned at half-time about the international break. That probably didn't help him, but at the same time, Forest had the same preparation as well. So give them credit for the win.
What did you think of those tactical tweaks that he tried?
Listen, they were all good. I mean, he was trying to get Liverpool back in the game. You know, he went to that little kind of box with Zabazalai and Curtis Jones at the top of it, and Gravenberch and Trent at the bottom of it. You're 3 at the back, and then you do the wide players. You brought Darwin on to try and give you a focal point. But Forest was just in a groove. They were just never broke concentration, and I think they deserve so much credit for that. But Arne Slot had a whirlwind honeymoon coming in, winning the games. It was all sweetness and light, winning games, playing great football. The performance at Manchester United before the international break was as good as you're going to get. But I tell you what, he's realised what the Premier League is about now.
I wouldn't want to overreact to this either, you know, but we were talking about them as possible title contenders. I think Shay put them up there. I'm not sure if you did pre-match. Is it going too far to suggest that they're actually a level or two below that? Is it expecting too much of Arne Slot to lead this team to the Premier League title this season?
No, I think Liverpool will certainly be thereabouts. They'll be within 4 or 5 points of the league. But I highlighted it previous in the show is that the lack of a number 6, a world-class number 6, a Rodri-type character, a Fabinho-type character.
Gravenberch struggled a bit today.
Gravenberch will struggle, you know. And I said that what my point before the game was, Liverpool have the wind in their sails. It's great as a number 6. You're joining in, you're passing it. But there's games like this where the 6, that's when he puts on his hat and he goes to work, because Liverpool broke away so many times in that second half, and they could have got another goal and got 2 or 3. Forest with their breakaways, their opening, especially when the wingers came on. And also, that's out of possession. In possession, you want a 6 to set a tempo, a rhythm for your team. But Morgan Gibbs-White dropped onto him and stopped him. But then he's got to work hard to make angles, to get on the ball, to take the ball under pressure. Like Rodri. Do you think Rodri would be worried if Morgan Gibbs-White was stood next to him? He'd say, give me the ball. He'd take it, use his body, drive past Morgan Gibbs-White and start passing, giving Man City a tempo. And I don't think Gravenberch is a natural at that. He's an 8 and he's a very good player, but I think that, and it's amazing because they've had, 18 months, since Fabinho left, or 2 years even. They stopgap with Endo, they had a stopgap now with Gravenberch. I cannot believe that they've not gone and identified a world-class number 6 to get him in the team, because days like today, they get you through.
Are they title contenders?
Big question. Look, beforehand, I was probably like most Liverpool fans up and down the country were saying they've won 3 in the bounce. Of course, they're title contenders. Everything looks brilliant. Scoring goals, could have scored a hatful more at Old Trafford a few weeks ago. It's amazing what one result does. They lose at home to Nottingham Forest, and now I'm even going, I'm not sure. But I still think they'll be... Them Arsenal and City will be close, I think.
Fair enough. So yeah, them Arsenal and City. I think Damien's suggesting you're really nailing your cutters to the mass on that one there, Shay.
Thanks,
one of those 3 will probably win the league
I'll
title.
get me coat.
Back after these. Finished 0-0 to Nottingham Forest, and there's no doubt, lads, that Nottingham Forest deserved this. You couldn't say Liverpool were unlucky or blew the house down or any of those things. Was a deserved Forest victory?
No, it was a brilliant away performance from Nottingham Forest. Yes, Liverpool huffed and puffed, but Matt Sales, we talked about the goalkeeper for Forest, and they've made loads of saves. Defensively, as Damien mentioned before the break, were absolutely brilliant at the back, and again, the types of bringing Hudson-Odoi and Elanga was a masterstroke, because I think Slot said before the game we prepared for 2 wingers. They didn't play with 2 wingers, but they finished with 2 wingers.
That's right. Yeah, that was interesting. That was the pre-match interview. He said that's literally what he said. He said we were talking about the wide players setting things up, and now they haven't picked them, so we'll change things. And they didn't seem ready when they actually did come on.
They didn't seem ready when they came on, so maybe they forgot about how they prepared. But again, the 2 wingers for Forest coming off the bench were brilliant.
Yeah, they certainly were for the goal, Damien.
Oh yeah, really good stuff from Forest's point of view. It comes here. We'll see Milinkovic absolutely poleaxes Darwin Núñez, and it coming a breakaway here, and Liverpool are in decent shape. They've got enough red shirts back you there. You see there's 5v3, but that Morgan Gibbs-White run takes Konate out of it, and then there's so much open space. You watch Morgan Gibbs-White next to Konate as the ball comes in, he just clears out that space. Bradley's got to get him down the line, but when he chops inside, he needs help. You need a midfield player, you need somebody there to stop that. But he comes inside. What a finish this is, by the way. I mean, absolutely, to be the goalkeeper of Alisson's size, stature, and he gets nowhere near it. He just arcs it outside and it clips the post.
Always looks good when it
it's
clips
so good. Even this one here from behind, you see, like Alisson moves his feet really well. Good spring, but getting nowhere near that, unfortunately. And they were brilliant, Forest, absolutely brilliant.
Which make it a goal?
Yeah, fantastic, brilliant finish. I was only disappointed that Alisson didn't go, because I know how good he is. And sometimes as a goalkeeper, when you really drive and step and dive, sometimes you even surprise yourself. I'm not saying he should have saved it or would have saved it, but sometimes you can surprise yourself. It's a fantastic goal. As I said before, both wingers linking up from the right side to the left side, and a fantastic finish.
They linked up the team just generally, Forest, certainly in the second half. They were breaking away. We were watching this thinking there could be a goal here in Forest for quite a while.
They were. I mean, they grew into the game for sure. First half, I don't think, as you said there before, they didn't get into the box, I think, the whole of the first half. But I think the crowd as well was a bit flat today, and I think that played into Forest as well. They were kind of like just grew into the game, Owen, really, and the opportunity. So we showed them first too, because the linesman flag, it was minimalistic offside. We felt and think, why does he give offside and not play on the advantage till maybe something more positive comes from it? But again, they sniffed something that was there for them today at Anfield, and again the opportunities you see here, look, good on the ball. Woods again linking up play, just played for New Zealand during the week. It's a wayward shot at the end, but again, it's getting Liverpool on the back foot, them chasing back. So when they do get the ball, they've got less energy, of course, to attack Nottingham Forest. So again, just the final shot, the final finish. You see Van Dijk getting beaten there. This time Elanga's a good save from Alisson. You expect him to make, but again, it's just give them that belief that they could get something today.
Great breakaways. Like you talk about the picture perfect game plan. Sit in, soak up pressure. And a couple of better decisions, they would have had more chances. There were still 2 or 3 really good chances there for them, but really efficient on the break, exploiting the gaps. Liverpool were pushing, looking for a goal, a lot of space in that midfield, and they absolutely took it.
We can have a little look at Liverpool's chances as well. They were not as plentiful as we might have imagined they were going to be, but they possibly could have got something.
Well, Liverpool plentiful. They weren't as clear cut as what you were thinking. Liverpool were getting into good positions on the edge of the box. but a lot of it was this, shots from distance, dragged wide, nearly moments. I mean, they were probably screaming for one of these to go in, just for virtue of the fact to calm everybody down, because I know once Liverpool, if they got their noses in front, they would have been quite rhythmical then with their play, because there was not an awful lot of pressure. But that's it. In 90 minutes of football, for Nottingham Forest to restrict Liverpool to that many chances, they've done superb.
Is there an issue there now for Arne Slot? It's only his 4th game. We assumed that the players were going to buy in, but maybe they won't buy in so much now when they have a match like that.
No, that's not. No. The manager's ideas will come true. It's just that he now needs to figure out ways that when teams come to Anfield, or even when they go away from home to places like the City Ground, teams are going to sit in and they're going to double bank their wingers because they know that Liverpool's biggest threat are the 2 wide players. So they're going to drop the Forest wide players back to help them, deny them space, not come out and give Salah space to run into, deny him space. And then obviously if you can hang in there, frustrate Liverpool, bring your wide players on, you get a breakaway and it can happen.
Olaina was probably your player of the match for Forest.
Yeah, just about. I think the 2 centre-backs were awesome as well, Milinkovic. But this fella, because the centre-backs have comfort of bodies around the midfield players, but Aina is on his own with Luis Diaz, and he coped admirably. Sometimes 2v1 there when you look at Robertson coming up outside, but he played the perfect game. You know, Anfield, big pitch, slick pitch. His decision-making was excellent, and he really took away one of their danger men in Luis Diaz. He's economical with the ball. Look at that, superb there. That was on Gakpo to set them on their way, Liverpool. But it's just 1v1 defending. His concentration, this is one from his concentration. Could have switched off there and drifted off the line, but he didn't. He expected a Liverpool player to get that header on, and he was right where he needed to be. But the 2 centre-backs as well, we could have done a package on them too, because they were absolutely superb.
I mentioned the players there. What about Liverpool? They've been so emotionally attached to Jurgen Klopp for so long. It's been a bright start for the new manager, but it's still very early days, and you can't just write him off based on one result either.
No.
But presumably the jury's going to be out for a little while until they see
the jury will always be out with a new manager
Yeah.
coming after following Klopp, and 8 years is a long time, and everyone looks across, I suppose, not that far across the motorway to Manchester United, how they dropped off when Ferguson left after so many successful years, you know. So there's that comparison, but I don't see that. I do think that, you know, there's powers above as well have changed, and I thought they might have, you know, backed the manager. Someone brought a couple of players, and we spoke before about Zubimendi, the Spanish international, the number 6. Thought they would have got across the line, would have made a big difference. Didn't get him, but I actually really like this manager. I think he's got a big future at Liverpool, and again, going back to the fans, he just felt a bit flat today. I don't know why, and sometimes that you sort of respond to the team on the pitch, how well they're playing. If they're creating loads of chances, keepers making loads of saves, then the crowd are really up, but we didn't see that at all today.
I think it's fair to say Arne got somewhat outfoxed in the second half by his opposite number, Nuno.
Was it one of those days where the game plan just really went so well?
No, the players did it well. The players did it well. The hard work that they did all over the game. Beginning was very hard. I think we controlled, but Liverpool nailed us against the ropes. But we managed to keep it. Stay in the game was important for us. All the moments. Second half the same. Trying to go out, trying to arm them. But hard work of the boys. Really happy for them.
Yeah, what was important in that first half, in staying in the game and disrupting Liverpool's flow as well?
Yes, important, because they are so good. You cannot play them and ignore the quality they have. It's always the balance. Staying defensively, we were really good.
And on the second half, of course, you started with different wingers, and then you bring Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, and then they're both directly involved in the goal. So that was the plan, just trying more things in the second half, maybe?
No, because the hard work that Elliot and Nico did to balance the team was impossible to last 90 minutes. It was impossible. The task that because the fullbacks of Liverpool, they are so offensive and they run inside, you have to track the runners, and requires a lot of energy. We needed fresh legs in that moment.
Yeah, and how important were these individual duels? Because Alex Moreno, for example, handled Salah really well.
Very well, very well. And the other side, also with Diaz. It's individual competence. They did well. Sometimes they break us, but also we play good. I think we control the game in the right moments. In the first half, we didn't finish the actions. We break Liverpool over the side, but we didn't finish the actions. So was that in the second half much better, while we control and really arm, then go for the action to arm them. Really happy for the boys. Very happy for the fans. They are delighted. There is a moment to enjoy it.
Well done to Nuno and to Forrest. He was asked about Mo Salah being well handled at the end there, and he certainly was for a player who's been on fire in the first few games.
Yeah, it's amazing, because how many times we speak about Mo Salah in a Liverpool shirt over the years. He's been absolutely up there with the greats. I don't know, Kenny Dalglish, Ian Rush. This guy's in Robbie Fowler. This guy's in that sort of conversation. He's that brilliant. But today, Owen, he just had one of them days, and everything he seemed to do was give the ball away. His final pass or his final shot was just wrong, And I suppose in football we've all been there, Damon. You get days that get done, it's just not coming off. So how many times we've seen him in this position, cut inside and bending into the far top corner, just overhits the cross. It's been a frustrating, really day for him, and we expect more because we've seen so much more over the years.
What do you reckon just on his performance today?
Yeah, he was poor. Nuno's interview there was interesting, where he spoke about his full-backs having to track the wingers when they run inside, and then you have to have the cover of the wide players coming back, because sometimes you are left in a 2v1. So I suppose as a full-back, if you're told, right, Salah is your job, or to the other side, Diaz is your job, you can just lock onto him and almost man-mark him and not have to worry about runners off you, because that's what the wide midfield players were covering. But his decision-making was poor today, coming inside, a couple of misplaced passes. That package of that sequence could have gone on for another 30 seconds, such was the regularity which he was giving the ball away.
I imagine he might bounce back for the AC Milan game. If there was one thing you would want to see changed as a Liverpool fan today, what would it be for Tuesday night in the Champions League? Is there one personnel or tactical shift?
Game, wouldn't it? Obviously in the Champions League, Milan at home as well. It'll be a totally different game. They'll come out. I mean, Liverpool are away team. They can hit them on the break, different things. But next week on Premier Sports on Saturday is Bournemouth at Anfield. So that they'll be watching this game today and going, this is the perfect game plan to go there and frustrate them.
He needs to get a more cohesive unit. Like, he'll be worried today the amount of misplays, the amount of times someone played a ball for a run and the run never came, Jota checked out and the ball just trickled out over the end line. That'll be concerning to him as to, like, why were we not on the same level? You can put it down to the international break, but he'll have to speak about that during the week in training and say we need to get on each other's wavelength and hopefully have more fluidity.
Well, how many times they've worked that system, the three at the back, the box and midfield. He's had a day probably to prepare for this game. But he also said in his pre-match comments about, well, they've done the pre-season, they're prepared for the next 21 days. They've got 7 games or 22 days or something, so they've got a really busy schedule. So it's difficult for a top manager to do too much work and training as well with different systems.
But particularly when he hasn't had any players. It's not like he's bringing in his own players. Obviously, Chiesa's come in late in the transfer window. He wasn't even in the squad today, so we'll see if he's OK for midweek. But usually a manager comes in, they get a few of their new signings and they can implement their style with players who fit, but he's having to take whoever's there and try to mould them.
That's what I'm saying. We spoke about Gravenberch before, we spoke about him after. He's not a number 6. I still think he can probably do a job there, but he's not a recognised number 6. He's more an offensive midfielder. And again, he's trying to put, was it round holes and square pegs, or square pegs and round holes?
Either works.
There's something like that, but he's trying to rejig people. But you're right what you're saying. A new manager wants to bring a couple of his own players in to strengthen his team.
Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, is ready to talk.
Describe that result today and the performance.
It was a shame. Losing points at home is not good at all. But the opponent today was clear the way they want to play. They want only defend and play for one ball. We gave them this ball too easy when they score. Poor defensive from us. With the ball as well, we couldn't create much because of the way they defended and also because of ourselves, a little bit lack of quality. Today, maybe more energy. Unfortunately, it's 3 points that we lost today were unnecessary.
We're showing Liverpool 3 times this week on Premier Sports, and you have to say maybe it's a bit of a slow burn because that first half wasn't exactly vintage, Shay, was it?
Yeah, I hope so. A slow burner, but we sort of spoke off air actually about sometimes after the international break it can be a bit of a flat one. The game straight back. You imagine a lot of these players in both teams travelling around the world, getting back maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and both managers go one day to prepare for today. But it's no excuse. I mean, even the crowd at Anfield's a bit flat, and that's probably because of the performance on the pitch has been pretty poor.
You would expect a little bit more, even with what's out there, a bit more quality from Liverpool than what we saw there.
Yeah, really lacking fluidity, and the effort is there, the tempo, the energy, everything they're trying to do is there. Just the execution and timing is off, and it started really early in the game. A lot of balls that were hit and just miscommunications here. I think Salah has to make that pass, but he just overhits it. It's the right, like I said, the right idea. Everything is pretty good what they're doing. It's just the execution at the moment. You'd like to feel, or you'd hope that will come in the second half. Salah breaking down on him an awful lot on the right-hand side. That is not like Trent Alexander-Arnold to overhit that pass by as much as what he did. And then all of a sudden they get into a good position with Super Ball. Salah just doesn't seem to have the legs to get by. This is a classic one. Salah chops inside in his left foot. Simple pass to Szoboszlai, but he overruns it. Put that one on Szoboszlai. Here you've McAllister popping inside. Not a great ball to Jota. It's bobbled in a minute. Jota should do better. And lots of stuff like that where Jota checked his run. Salah didn't notice it. Szoboszlai, I think, has had a pretty decent game. That's a poor ball from Liverpool's point of view. So they're just bubbling away. I would be interested to see what Slot does at half-time, because he didn't stand on ceremony in the Ipswich game. When he wasn't happy, he changed it. So I would be interested to see what he does now at the break.
Personnel-wise or
yeah,
shape-wise?
personnel-wise or just something to get them going a little bit. I would imagine he give him a bit more time just to let him find the rhythm, but he won't wait as this continues.
They had moments. They were the team who obviously looked more likely to score.
Yeah, a few half chances, to be fair. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he does do, the manager.
Even this half chance comes out of a pretty poor pass.
Yeah, it's madness from Yates as a defender. You've got to deal with it better than that. And again, they get a bit lucky, to be fair. Forrest Diaz, who's had a brilliant start to the season as well, hits the post there, of course. And again, yeah, I mean, will Arne Slot do? I'm looking at the bench and I look at Nunez and Gakpo. That's probably one of the real offensive players he can change off the bench to try and give them a spark, something different. Again, it's a brilliant ball in from Mo Salah. Szoboszlai sort of comes off his shoulder. I think he's got to do better with a header. And this is a header from Matt Sells in the goal, but I think it's a save I expect him to make from.
You felt that Jota should have gone with his head.
Sorry, that's the previous one. Yeah, Jota should definitely go with his head. I think one of his strongest points on is heading the ball, and again it's a poor execution. Van Dijk this time on a corner. I think it's Gibbs White who's picking him up. This is the one I was on with Matt Sells, but. It's a save I'd expect him to make, if I'm being honest. It's comfortable, you know. So again, Nuno Espirito Santo at half-time going, lads, this is perfect. The crowd's flat, they're flat. Yeah. We'll get a set play. We'll take up a Ward-Prowse before the game. We'll get a chance second half to keep it nice and solid.
Forrest, they'd be happy?
Oh, Forrest would be delighted. It's absolutely everything they wanted. And just maybe Gibbs White had a great chance. He's just offside, so he'll be bringing that up at half-time. Look, lads, just keep going. We'll nick something. But you don't want to invite Liverpool now, because make Liverpool earn it. Like, if you give away something cheap, like a penalty or a short back pass, Liverpool need a goal. And if they get that goal, I'd imagine they'll find the rhythm pretty quick.
They have got 3 wins from 3 so far in the Premier League under Arne Slot. Will that continue? They've got a bit of work to do after the break. Elsewhere, in the 3 p.m. kickoffs, Erling Haaland is on the verge of Premier League history. He scored 2 goals in the first half against Brentford, 1 more in the second half, and he'll have back-to-back-to-back hat-tricks, I think is the way that Shea wants to phrase it. 3 hat-tricks in a row. Nobody's ever done it in the Premier League. In fact, the last time it happened in the top flight was in 1946, when who did it, Damien? Correct, Jack Balmer of Liverpool. I knew it was on the tip of your tongue, so I just thought I'd help you out there. We'll see what
like Brian Kerr.
Now, that's pretty good going from Forrest for the most part defensively, but they did have one calamitous moment, Shea. Have you ever had a moment like this?
I know Rob mentioned in common Shea Given wouldn't do that, but I think Shea Given has done this a few times. I think the classic example of this one is you're thinking about the next motion before you dealt with the cross. So he's thinking what he's going to do next. He's going to distribute, he's going to kick it up the pitch, what's he going to do? But I'll tell you what, he is a lucky man, because if you see when it comes down, it actually hits his back elbow, and his back elbow keeps it from crossing the white line, because if the elbow goes the other way,